That right there is Audiopunk's new plugin, Mongrel Rack, created in part with Tchad Blake. And as you can hear, it changed that drum sound quite dramatically. Now, this plugin is a plugin within 8 plugins. There are 8 different modules built into this virtual rack system. And for less than $100, which I think the intro price is right now, that's a pretty good deal. So first, let's go over the 8 different modules, and then we'll move into some examples on bass, guitar, and drums. Before we do get started, just for full transparency, Audiopunk sent me the plugin, but have no control over what I say and did not pay me to say anything positive. Let's get into it. When you first open the plugin, it's just like this empty rack. It kind of looks like a 500 series rack. If you have that 500 series, it has these plugs where you put the module in. And then over here on the little screws is where you can select the different modules you want to use. So let's start from the top. The Mongrel Mask. This is a shaping EQ, and a lot of the frequencies are ones Tchad tends to go for when he's mixing. And you can kind of tell that because if you've watched any of his Mix with the Master videos, he's a big fan of some of these different frequencies. And this EQ alone sounds really good. And it's like I said in the intro, each plugin in this group of plugins of a plugin is really good. Let me just show you the EQ really quick so you can hear it. So really nice tone shaping EQ and lots of well thought out frequencies that you can select and choose. Okay, the next one is the Analog Delay 680. Now this is an emulation of the old DoD pedal, which I think is the same one I had as a kid. It was my first guitar pedal, my first effects unit I had bought at Manny's Music in New York City. And that shows you how old I am. But it was the first effects unit I ever got, and my friend and I had saved up money. We split the pedal, honestly. And it was the coolest thing, man, to run something through, a mic and hear the delay. And this gives me the same kind of feeling. So I feel like it might have been the same exact pedal, but check this out. This is on drums, so it's a little weird, but we can make it work. So a really cool analog kind of dirty delay. And I'll show you more when we get to the guitar example of how you can use it. Next is a vibrato. Pretty clear. It sounds a little weird on drums, so we'll just keep it moving. I'm not a huge vibrato fan, but in the example with the guitar, once again, it actually sounds kind of cool, but we'll get into that. Then the shaft. Now this looks familiar. It looks a lot like the Devil Lock or the Shure Level Lock, and I'm pretty sure that's what it emulates with the kind of boost that Tchad likes. And this thing is fantastic. I've had this plugin for about 4 days now, and I've mixed about 4 songs, and I've used this on every single song. So let me just play it with the drums for a minute. So that thing is awesome. The Level Lock, the Devil Lock, whichever one you use, always brings out great sounds in drums. It's one of my favorite processors to use on drums. Next is the Tesla Stereo Enhancer. Now this is based on this old unit called, I think, Bedini Bias Unit. I'm not sure. I never heard of it until I looked at the manual, which I will say, Audiopunks, the manual is a little limited. I wish it was a little more detailed, but that's what this is supposedly based on. And you can get crazy with this thing. Let me just play a little bit on the drums. The guitar, you'll hear it a bit more, but let's just hear the drums. Really just makes the drum sound a little too wide. I'm not sure I would normally use this on drums, but you get the idea. Next is the Mongrelizer. And this thing, I don't quite know what it is. It's a dynamic harmonic enhancer, and it just sounds freaking good every time I put it on something. That one's been getting used quite a bit around here. That and the shaft together on drums are very nice. Then you have tremola. I know I'm fucking that up. Anyway, a tremolo plugin, and it's interesting. Once again, this isn't a plugin I reach for a lot, but it has some cool effects, and you can line it up with the BPM and get some cool like movement out of things. So yeah, once again, probably not the best source for that, but pretty cool. And then lastly, we won't get into this, but you also have a gate called Gator, and you can chain this to other plugins within the rack. I haven't done that yet, so don't quote me, but that's what it says on the tin of the box. All right, so moving on. Let's just check this out on drums. And let's pull up the Mongrel Mask EQ, the shaft, and the Mongrelizer. Now let's just play it with this. Let's add a little 5K to it and just a little 130. So these three settings have been used on drums on mixes I've done this week. Now, what I like about this is you have mix knobs on this one, right? But then you could take all of this and use the mix knob up top. And that's beautiful because then you still get your natural drum tone, but you got a little saturation, a little sharpness around it to make it stick out of the mix a bit more. So all kinds of things you can do with drums there. Show you guys something I got on bass. Once again, the same plugins, a little bit of 130 this time and a little bit of 1.5K to make it stick out a bit more. This Mongrelizer that I said sounds great on everything, and then just a little bit of the shaft. This is without the bass, and then we'll bring it on. So a nice growl to that bass. It's going to stick through the mix a lot more. Now you could get this sound, for instance, with the Devil Lock if you had it, but a really cool way to have everything all in one. And with this Mongrelizer, with the mask, it might give you a different sound than you might got if you just put, say, a Devil Lock on something. One more thing I can show you too, guys. If you hold down and click, you see how this thing moves? You can move these all around too. So if you want to change the order, and that can give you different tones too. See how that changed a bit? The bass boost we have going into the shaft made it feel a little thicker, like the distortion a bit thicker. So pretty cool that you can move them all around and change the order and so forth. Okay, so lastly, let's check this out on guitar. This is a guitar that was recorded for the song. By the way, shout out to Nate Moore. This is a song I worked on with him called Nobody Cares. This is a preset that I found in some of the presets called Dimension Delay. And this guitar was recorded, Nate records a lot of direct stuff, and it has reverb on it already, but it was mono. So let me play it without it, and then I'm going to turn on this dimension delay, and it just changes the whole feel and tone of this guitar. So a really cool effect. Got some of the vibrato, a bit of width, delay, and some EQ all built in. And that's what's really creative about this unit is you have all these different plugins that are there. You can just move them around and try different sounds and get different unique sounds that you might not have gotten if you were just stacking plugins. So final thoughts, this plugin is awesome. It's very unique. The fact that I went and used it on mixes I was working on right away and found useful reasons to use it is a good indicator for me that I'll be using it as time goes on. A lot of times I get a lot of plugins to review. I'll try it, it sounds cool, and then it just goes in the plugin graveyard. But this one, I feel like there's so many unique sounds to it that you can use on different things. I mean, I use this on guitars. I had it on a keyboard. I had it on a bass. I had it on drums. Vocals, I used the Tesla on some BGs to make them a little bit wider. So there's so many unique ways to use this plugin. I think it's something that you could put in your arsenal, and it will continue to give you the benefits of having a plugin that you actually use. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, if you need your songs mixed or mastered here in my studio, you can send them and find out more information at mixandmastermysong.com, and I'll talk to you guys soon.